Mirë mbrëma si çdo natë, kush më dëgjon të më thot që më shikon, më dëgjon, gjithçka mirë. Edhe të bëjmë pak pas tash të themi para se të hyj Jimena, për çfarë do ndodhi sot. Se pastaj nuk të flasim më shqip. Na duhet të flasim anglisht me të. Super. Pra dëgjohem, shikohem dhe gjithçka tjetër. Tani që të tregoj, unë jam autodidakte në anglisht, kështu që shpresoj shumës më shani, e para. E dyta, Jimena do flasi për disa gjëra shumë specifike, kështu që mundohuni të mos më shani mua po ju duka ignorante, edhe do t'ja lëm asaj të ndritoj pjesën më të madhe, që praktikisht mos dukem budalaçk në lidhje me temat e saj. Ndërkohë që e presim, duhet keni parasysh që të uleni në një pozicion komod, edhe të jeni gati për një orë shumë ndryshe nga e zakonshme, sidomos të takime me Panën. Unë e shoh që Jimena nuk ka hyrë akoma. Nuk dua t'ju tregoj sekrete pa ardhur ajo, po ka shumë sekrete dhe gjëra të bukura për cilat ne do flasim sot. Erdhi. Super, në kohë. Jimena, I'm adding you. Po, na e pashi hyri. Jimena, you have...
Hi.
Hey!
Namaste. Hi.
Namaste. Jimena, I am so happy that you are today in the meetings with Pana. I explained to everyone that my English is not the best one, so they don't say anything to me. I have learned by myself. So, and then I even explained that I don't know all the terminology that you are going to speak today. So if I make any mistake, hope nobody will say I am a fool one.
No, not at all. Come on. English is not my native language neither. So I think we try our best.
Yes. Jimena, thank you very much. Today it will not be the usual meeting that we have with all the order and everything we do usually. And I explained to them a little bit that this will be a very special one and that I will not present who will be tomorrow because he's a surprise. It's a he. He is a surprise. So I will leave it for today. And all the meeting with Pana will be more delivered from you than from me.
Okay.
So you have to explain to us how I met you.
I explain it?
Yes, you.
Okay.
Because no, I don't want you to explain it like explain it. I want you to make your magic. So you can show to them what made me feel in love with you.
Okay. Well, I met you some months ago. And let's say that I don't believe in coincidences. And I'm pretty sure that we were meant to meet. And they say that the student always meets the teacher when the student is ready. True. And I'm pretty sure that was the one day you really needed to dig in more into yourself. So I see myself more as a person that holds the space for others. I am the person that opens the space for them to feel safe so they can look more within themselves. So in reality, I was the one day that I met you, that I hold the space for you so you can look inside for the questions and the answers that you needed in that particular time. And all I do is that I stay just watching you and guiding you through the whole process. So just to make it easier to understand, I'm a yoga teacher, I'm a healer, I'm a therapist, I'm also an intuitive coach. And I facilitate basically the space for people, for them to heal themselves, for them to grow, for them to discover the new versions of themselves or to rediscover themselves and to make the right life-changing choices for the future that are going to contribute for their well-being.
Can I say that you make it wonderfully and you make it really easy, but maybe we need to lower it a little bit down and explain in your language what it means to find yourself and which are some of the simplest steps so you go through the process. So someone like me goes through the process.
Yes. So what happens is that for me, the way I've been doing this, by the way, for many years. I think that I've been doing this for now 11 years or so, in which I basically just help people. And I never, when I go to meet someone, I have a plan, because I want to see how they feel. And I want to see what I think that they actually need rather than what they think they need. Because you always go to these kind of like spiritual meetings with a mind idea, but in reality, once you meet the person, you understand that their heart is saying something else. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the heart's answer, not for the mind's answer. And when I meet people, depending on what I feel, what they need in that particular time of their lives, I will suggest what I think they need to do. So for example, if I meet someone that is very active, is very hyperactive, I will say, no, you need to do meditation. You need to slow down what you're doing because you're already too active. When I meet the opposite, then I ask them, well, you need to do yoga. You need to move. You need to do this and that. But then sometimes that can mean healing. That can be coaching. That can be anything. Now, when it comes to finding yourself, and this is the whole philosophy of yoga, right? Or like self-discovery, it's more of a spiritual journey. And a spirituality, sometimes people think is a religious thing, or you're related to some sort of practice of religious, or I have to believe in God, or in, but spirituality is basically the practice in which we start to ask questions and to search, what is this thing about my spirit, like my own spirit? And then from that spirit, I can maybe understand the great spirit that so many other cultures talk about. But it's all about your spirit, not my spirit, not the neighbor's spirit, but your spirit. And that is the practice of spirituality. Going back to that part of you that it feels very divine, that it feels that you don't know how it was created. And there has to be a point in your life in which you're going to start asking yourself, there has to be more to life. There is something more to this flesh, to this body, to this physical existence. There has to be more to it. And I need to maybe understand it better, or dig in more, or search more in order for me to be happier. Because the farther you are away from your divinity, the more you feel unsatisfied in life.
Are you going to make one magic now or later?
I can, well, I would suggest that maybe
Okay.
we can set the space by me playing a little bit of the singing bowls, which these are my little babies, which I play. And it is through sound. I love that you use the word magic. It is through sound that we believe magic is done. It is through the words, it's through chanting, it's through singing, and it's also through sound. And it also, the story says that the universe was created by the sound of Om. So Om is that creation, right? So it is the sound that creates the space. So now let's listen to the singing bowls. And what will happen is that we will all synchronize to the same vibration. And in this case, it will be the vibration of Om. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I would suggest is that you sit down with a long spine and meditation position, or if you're sitting on a chair, just sit down comfortably. And you can start to close your eyes. And then just relax your body. Maybe this is the first time through the whole day that you're taking a moment to listen to yourself, to not listen to the saturation of information on the outside, but you begin to listen to your own breath. And I just stay sitting down that way. I just want you to relax your mouth, the area which you do sound in your body. Relax your teeth, your jaw. Keep your eyes closed. And you can take a long inhale through your nose, and on the exhale, you can exhale through your mouth. And we can try the same thing again, and just make sure that when you exhale, all your tension leaves through your mouth. And then you can start to slowly open your eyes. Sorry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And of course, this is the sound of healing bowls through technology, through the phone, but I would invite you when I do one of these singing bowls in person, all of you, so you can really feel the vibration just really like much stronger in your body when you are right in front of them.
Yes, I think it's different, but meanwhile, the ones who have gone through it, maybe they still are connected much more. And I wanted to show to them that there are several ways of helping, ways that we Albanians, we don't know them usually. There are a lot who knows them, but there are people who didn't get in touch with these methods. And now this is very important, I think, not only for me, but most of the people that I know, because this quarantine period has been quite difficult for most of us. In the meaning of economic and so many dreams are gone away or left behind and so on. I know that you have totally another opinion about it, and I want you to share it. What is really happening right now, not only in Albania but worldwide, in this very different period?
Yes. So the thing with humans is that we don't like endings. We don't like transitions. We don't like to let go of the old. When we are very comfortable, when we create ideas, we are very structured about these ideas. We said this is our routine, this is the way, this is the time I wake up, this is what I eat, at this time I meet my friends for coffee. And the culture of Albania is also very structured in that sense. Like, I mean, I've been living here for 5 years, and I know that people, they have a routine, you know, like this is the time I do this, and I have to meet people after work for coffee or for a drink, and it's just, you know, very, very structured. During this period, and I'm going to talk about from the spiritual perspective, so it might sound a little bit different to what you're used to, but from the spiritual perspective, and when I'm talking spiritually, I'm talking about what each of our spirits are going through, what we're learning through this collective. And we are approaching the end of a cycle. It is the end of old structures, old ideas. And as we go through the process, some of us might feel more adventurous to see what's coming, and some of us might still struggling to, whoa, but I'm so used to what it was before, and I like how it was before. And some of us are just afraid of the unknown, the uncertainty. I don't know what's going to happen, and when I don't know what's going to happen, it gives me anxiety. So it's either the humans are always either in the future or in the past. If I'm in the future, I'm anxious. If I'm in the past, I'm depressed. It's like we're switching between those two feelings all the time. And only when we find a moment, maybe a second, maybe a minute, that we are in the present moment, those two feelings just like they disappear. And those two feelings are variations or expressions of one feeling, which is fear. Both of them are
Yes.
born out of fear. I don't know what's going to happen after, or I'm afraid because this happened before, so I'm judging my future by what happened the back
Yes.
of me. So in this time, I think humans are learning that we cannot control everything. That is all about control. We cannot control others. We cannot control, this is about manipulation. We cannot control the way money works, the way that culture works, the way we cannot control anything. We're going through, okay, let's say this is a period where everything that we have created as a structure is getting either shifted, destroyed, or transformed. It never crossed our mind ever that we will be at home, that we will stay inside, that we will have to be in an enforced vacation. We never thought that it will never cross our mind that we will get to use computers the ways that probably we are doing it now.
Yes.
And you might see it as a negative thing if you choose to, but if you shift your perspective, you realize that what we're doing is that we are working in getting more resourceful, in getting more creative. We are coming back to the creativity of the inner child. The child is creative. The child doesn't realize his inner out. He's playing with what he got. If you give them two toys, he's gonna get entertained and try to make an old story with that toy. And this is what we're trying to also understand. Why you're so used to keep yourself busy with the exterior, now the humanity is pushed to be indoors and deal with the indoors, deal with what's going on in my spirit. One thing that I think is very peculiar is that today, which is the Earth Day, it's also a new moon. And new moons represent new beginnings. It represents the beginning of a cycle. And this is what we're now finally transition for the last 50 days perhaps since this whole thing started worldwide. We were going through a lot of endings. the ending of things, the ending of our job, the ending of our this, the ending of our travels, the ending of our school. We cannot go to school. We have to do this and that. So there was a lot of ending and transitions. And uncertainty. We still have a lot of uncertainty, but little by little, it's like a new beginning is coming. What I would say is that I think that right now we are in a very catalyst moment for humanity where we have to accept and surrender what it is, because whatever you thought life was about before is not going to be the same afterwards. And this is not a negative or a positive, it's just different. But we as humans, we don't like different things. We need time. Okay, and this is the ultimate practice of yoga, you know, adapting, flexibility. We need flexibility. We need to adapt. We need to shape what's going on in our, you know, when they say this, they're saying if life gives you lemons, then you have to, you know, do lemonade. But this is kind of like what we're going through. Just so you understand a little bit, I work a lot with astrology. I work a lot. I'm just in love with symbolisms and things that the mysteries of the world, the mysteries of our existence and why we're here. This is my passion. And I find it very curious that right now, in the terms of the cosmos, Neptune, Uranus, and Saturn, there are different planets located in places that were never, you know, before for a long time, maybe in our lifetime. But especially Uranus, the last time Uranus was in the location that is now above us in the sky, was in the 1700s, which is precisely the time that the French Revolution started.
Okay.
There were a lot of revolutions, and revolutions are, again, it was the ending of centuries of living under one system. There was a monarchy, the rich were the rich, the poor were the poor, and this went on for centuries. And then it comes Uranus, it gets placed where it gets placed, and it moves everything, it destroys everything. And when it destroys things, it's not for good or bad, it's for change. And then French Revolution came, human rights were created, and now we start asking ourselves, well, we need to live under you know, different structure. We need to create a government. We need to make sure that we have people can work and earn and this and that. This same thing is happening right now. And I'm pretty sure that in 1700s, the population couldn't even imagine what would happen if the royalty fell, and they will create a system they never tried before, which was to have a president and stuff like that, a republic. Now we're going through the same. We're going to create a new way of living. And in this particular case, is all about environmental awareness. This time in history is about understanding that we are ungrateful beings. We take a lot from Earth. We are running out of resources because we don't respect. We want, but we don't give. We consume way more than we need to. And since 1988, NASA already told that, you know, climate change was a real thing, and it was something that would happen eventually. And now we find ourselves in 2020, in which, after all these years of activism and people just saying, by, you know, yelling us, listen, this is not going the right way. Now there's no time. Now it's like saying, well, you didn't listen to me for the last 30 years, so now I'm going to have to keep you indoors because you're just destroying everything. I'm talking about like Earth. So I find it a very positive period of selfishness, in the sense of I need to sacrifice me, my time, and being indoors so the Earth can heal. I need to sacrifice me because I've been, as my race, my species has done this, and now nature needs to recuperate. Nature needs to heal. Nature needs to to take over again because we did not respect boundaries.
Do you have some suggestion for the people who don't feel so positive during this quarantine period so they can raise themselves and feel a little bit better?
Yeah, so I would say that if you are new to anything in this field, I would suggest you to, first of all, if you never try meditation, this is the perfect time to do meditation. This is in fact the perfect time of rediscovering yourself, and the only way to discover yourself is by self-exploration. So you can do methods of mindfulness, meditation, breathing. Why breathing? Because breath is the only thing that shows you're still alive. It is only through breath that you remember, oh, I'm still here, I'm alive, I'm here, I haven't left. So in yoga, we say that when you are born, you have a certain amount of breaths per life. So you have to make them count. Don't make them short, make them long so your life is long, okay? So go back to your breath. Make your breath longer and deeper. Enjoy your breath. Every time you breathe, you remember, I'm here, I'm alive, I'm still here, and I'm okay. I'm great where I am. I would say a lot of visualization, but also I would say anything that is creative, anything that makes you have fun with your inner child, because you are home, and home represents also your childhood. What did you like when you were a child? Did you like to paint? Well, go back to paint. Did you like to dance? Go dance. Play around. Be foolish, you know, play, make jokes, do the things that you used to love to do. Perhaps was like writing or reading. It depends, but there's a lot also to do with connecting to your inner child. Why do you feel the way you feel? Because you're connecting to the adult part of you. And when you connect to the adult part of you, you only think on duties, responsibilities, worries, etc., etc. But that is just your custom. That's your body. We are all children inside that like to laugh, that like to jump, to call your friend and joke, etc. So if mindfulness is something that it looks too far away from you yet, because that doesn't make you feel too comfortable, maybe go to breathing or any creative activities. But for sure, find ways of self-exploration. Maybe it's through journaling. Ask yourself the right questions. If you are feeling anxious, ask yourself, where in my body I feel anxious, because you're always showing it in a part in your body. Oh, I have anxiety and I feel it in my chest. Okay, so let's work on breathing. And the moment I fix it here, it fixes within myself too. There are many ways. Listen to music, positive music, but definitely stay away from saturation of information, especially if it's just negative, because your brain will just play that as a broken record.
That's amazing. This is the only, I know who the person is. Dakuna is a very creative person, and she just wrote, I cried a lot as a child.
Yes.
So should she be again the child that she cried a lot? I think this is the question she's trying to make.
I cry a lot as a child. I'm pretty sure you did, because your children are truthful. And it is part of being truthful. When you were a child, you will laugh when it was time to laugh. You were genuine. Things will come. If something hurt you, you will cry. Now, when you are adult, somewhere in your lifetime, maybe when you became a teenager, you start keeping your crying. I don't want to show I'm crying because I show I'm weak. I don't want to cry about A, B, C, D. But crying is an act of release. When you cry, you're actually stimulating your lungs. When you cry, you're giving a massage to your heart, okay? And energetically, when you cry, is also a way of massaging your heart chakra, which is the center of love and compassion. So crying is much better than internalizing a feeling. Maybe you need to cry, and that's fine, cry. Because children will do the same. Children are so smart. And I'm sure that all of you that are here right now that are parents will notice that a child can go from being sad, happy, laughing, and crying in one moment because they are living when? Now.
Now.
Children are living in the now. They're not living yesterday, they're not living tomorrow. So they are showing us constantly that they know how to make themselves feel better. They know how to regulate their feelings because they express them in the moment. And when this person, I didn't see her name,
Dakuna.
when she was a
name of the
child.
art. It's the name of the art. So
Yeah. So then cry. And I'm pretty sure that at the point that you might cry until you start laughing, and it can even turn, how many times you cry that you start laughing? It's because you're working from your heart chakra. So you can go from that sadness and then going through laughing. Children do this all the time, but this is a natural way of your body to release and regulate.
Jimena, when I invited you, I don't know, I put it 22 April, and I think it was like 10 days ago, something like that. And I didn't keep in mind, so everything it's written somewhere. I didn't keep in mind that it was Earth Day. The only thing that came to my mind is that it was my mother's birthday. So she was born today. And then, thank you very much. And then after we discussed together and you told me, oh, it's Earth Day and so on, and everything got connected so well. So I want to, in Albania, it's a new concept, to be honest. The concept of the last years, maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe a little bit more, it doesn't matter. But most of us, we celebrate it only because it's a new thing. Just few people who are very connected to nature and so on, maybe know about it. So I want you to give us a little bit of more information and grow our mind about these very important dates.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to Earth Day, the story behind the Earth Day today, it was more of a practical date that they chose because they needed this day to happen during the time that people were still at school, because they needed activists and students to come and do this kind of activism at universities to defend Earth. So that's why they chose April 22. But there was not a particular reason behind, let's say, seasons or if it was spring or anything like that. But what matters here is that it was created, the fact that the day was created. And the whole reason behind the day being created was a way of awareness, because since the 1980s, they're trying to bring more and more awareness of the damage that humans are doing to Earth. And the same as animals, they don't have a voice. Earth doesn't have a voice. She cannot say, ouch, this hurts. You're doing this. It's not right. It's not correct. So I think that the more time passes, the more maybe awareness is brought to humans and the more activism is out there. But the damage is growing much bigger than the kind of activism we can do. Like, it's very unproportioned. I feel that these last 40 years that it has been taken more seriously, because it started as a day given in US for Earth Day, and just slowly started being taken by other countries. But the truth is that every day is Earth Day, right? Like, the truth is that every day should be Earth Day. She is the real mother. She is the mother of all our mothers. She's the reason why we have food. So this is the ultimate mother. She's the reason why we have shelter. She's the reason why we have sun, why we have water. So at the end, everything we need to, in order to live, is through her. But somehow within our, ungratefulness in a way, we've forgotten completely that she is the reason. It's not your money or your job, because even if you have it, you don't do anything with it. I feel, for example, for me particularly during this quarantine, the one thing I miss the most is being in nature. And I think that through this quarantine, a lot of people are getting to value much more the role of nature in their lives, like how it feels to be indoors all the time without being able to just walk in nature, because we are animals at the end. We need this. It's in our DNA. Our ancestors did this. This has only been the last century that we live this way, but our ancestors and that DNA is within us. We know that we are supposed to be in connection with Earth. The more that we disconnect from Earth, the more, and this is being done through studies, scientific studies, the more we have less contact with Earth or nature or trees, the more unhappy we become, we get depressed, we get anxious, we accumulate a lot of electromagnetism from electronics, and we don't find the ways to release that electromagnetism through, touching earth and soil. You want to boost your immune system, you go and walk in the soil barefoot and touch the soil until, so we need it. We really need to go back to nature and connect more to her. We have to also understand that Mother Earth represents everything that is life itself. And if we don't take care of her, then there is no life. As simple as that. In my culture, we will call Earth Pachamama, which is like the name of indigenous people. They call Pachamama what you will call here in Europe Gaia, from the Greek,
Yes.
Goddesses, Diana, and stuff like that. And Pachamama basically represents fertility. Is what gives birth to everything. Out of her, you can grow everything. And woman is that representation also. Out of us, we can grow life, another human being. So it is the goddess of planting, is the goddess of harvesting, is the mountains, but it's also the goddess of earthquakes, of natural disasters, just as woman, okay? If we are okay, we can do beautiful things. When we are not okay, we can also get very destructive, because that's part of our nature, right? So I think that we are clearly seeing since last year that nature is in pain. And for me particularly, the way I saw it was that since the moment the Amazons got on fire, that was like the biggest slap in the face. Look what you're doing. Like, now the lungs of the world are on fire. And I'm usually very like with the symbolism of things. But for me, it's no coincidence that you start seeing the lungs of the earth on fire and in pain. And then you have an illness that goes into your lungs, okay? Just because everything on earth is mirroring, there's always projection in everything. So just because you think you do it to something doesn't mean it's not going to happen to you. No, it will, because the world is constantly projecting and mirror stuff. So what are the lungs? What the lungs represent? The lungs, of course, are life, because again, we go back to breath. Without breath, there is no life. You know that your last breath is the moment you leave your body. And it's through breath that everything lives. If Pachamama, Mother Earth, is on fire in August, and most humans didn't care, what do you expect, of how things are transpassing for the next month? And then by December, you have another fire in Australia, and now it's not only nature who's on fire, but thousands of animals, again, in pain, because, again, they mirror. And now we are also going through that process.
Yes, true.
What I will invite also in this case, people who have been going through a tough time because of this quarantine, is I want you to connect to the bigger picture, because it's very easy to get stuck in my smaller picture. The smaller picture is me. What is me? What's happening to me? What's happening to me? But if I can disconnect from that, which is it's a hidden subconscious way of victimization, I can connect to the bigger picture, and I understand that this is all part of a bigger master plan. If we believe in something bigger, right? You might call it the universe or God, you know, love, but it is a great master plan that has to happen the way that it's happening for the greatest good of all, because it needs to fix what has been damaged. So I will invite people to the whole year. I think this whole year is all about reconnecting to the environment, and ask yourself, what is the one grain of sand that you can put in order to make Earth heal? So I am not saying, because this life is about harmony and balance. So I'm not saying now you have to go vegan and you have to stop this and stop that, because you will never be perfect. Like, it's hard, like it's impossible. But maybe one of you can consider, well, for me it's not hard to eat meat, so why not? I can become vegan. And one already makes an impact, and the other one says, well, I am gonna stop using leather products because for me it's something that really, really affects me. And then this is one less leather, consumer, and so on. But of course, it's hard for you to be the no-leather consumer with the vegan, with the environmentalist, because then you're gonna go crazy. Then you're not. It's about balance. You have to find what is gonna be the one grain, maybe two, maybe, I don't know, that you can contribute for this whole great master plan to work, because we are working on the adults. The children, they know this already. They are most likely teaching you what you need to learn right now.
Jimena, I need to check the time. So, okay, we have 20 minutes left, because it will close automatically. Yes, it will close automatically if we go in the end of it. So I want you to give only the 3 last pillars that we have remained, and you will do it by yourself. So first or second, or you decide on which one you will put first. We always end it with a message for everyone who listens to you. You have been giving a lot of messages, but still we need more. Then I know that we will make a meditation about Earth, because today it's Earth Day. And then if we have time, I think if everyone would love to hear some singing bowls and healing sounds, I'm learning, right?
Yes.
Then we can do it, if you wish, always.
Yes. Yeah.
I will thank you in the end. We will change. I will say thank you in the end, whatever. So I want to listen to you.
I would say that to summarize it, because of course there is so much to talk about, right? I would say that to summarize it, this is a period in which all of us need to work as a team. This is something that can only work if we work as a team. This is the time to break the individualism. This is the time to understand that we can, if we stick together, there is a bigger impact. And when I say stick together, think beyond anything. Just by sticking together in the way we think, we are already changing. Just by me meditating with you, I'm already giving a great effect on the people who are watching us, for example. So there is a bigger impact just by us pairing up and then inviting someone else and someone else and someone else. And also, this is a time in which I feel re-evaluation is the key. Evaluate what is important in your life. Because I am pretty sure if I ask you this question 40 days ago, you would have told me something different. And now you have realized that perhaps the most basic things in life are what matter to you the most.
Yes.
So this is why I feel this period is wonderful. It's a beautiful experience for us to understand the real value. reevaluate your respect for others, for nature, for space, for health. Respect your health, because I think also this is a time in that we start, maybe this is the first time in your life you're eating so healthy, or you're taking care of so much of your vitamins. I mean, this is a wonderful time because you're understanding, whoa, I really need to make sure that I don't eat this way, or I don't drink this much, or I don't smoke this much, because listen, you know, this could happen. Reevaluation is the key. As the world, reevaluation is also the key, because I think that countries and cultures would understand their impact on consumerism, on consumption, because we are all contributing to the fact that one country in the world is the one producing everything for all of us in horrible,
Condition.
inhuman situations and environment for them. And they needed to go through what they went through so the world can understand that we are making one country make everything for us in the expense that we pay cheap, and they are working like slaves. And we look the other way. And this is not new. We knew this for a long time. I mean, everyone knows this, but you prefer to look the other way, including myself, because everything you buy is from China, right? So I'm saying this not from a political or nothing. All I'm saying is reevaluate, because what matters to you at the end of the day most likely is human rights. It is being able to be with your family, being able to live and not be a slave of your work. All these things are like the values, right? What are the values? And resourcefulness. We are learning resourcefulness, because we are doing everything that we were doing on the outside, on the inside, and we found our ways. So that means that we were more creative than we thought so. And through the whole transition period that we're going through as humans, we're going to understand that we need to be resourceful, and that we are Charles Darwin said that species only evolve because of need. Okay.
True.
And this is part of our own evolution. We're humans, we go from here, knowing the conditions that we have now. And we figure out Zoom, we figure out doing the weirdest things we can do virtually. And perhaps it's going to stay this way or in this direction. And then finally, what I would say we're learning in this period is resilience, is the capacity we have, right, to go through the changes. All of us have a challenge with this period, and yet we made it. We're still here. Nobody has, gone through such. We're still home. We are safe within the circumstances. So resilience is very important to understand. Really, you're very strong, and you have gone through so many things, and yet you're still here, and you're still surviving, and you're still trying to make the best out of this period for you, for your family, for your loved ones, for your children, etc. So yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, really. I think the people that are listening to you, somehow they at least will change. And I invite them to follow you, because you make a lot of meditation and some hints and inputs on how they can improve and take the maximum of this period.
Yes.
So now the floor is into you. I will not do anything anymore. I am leaving my meeting with people, with Pana, whatever you do.
Very good. So for most of you, if you never have done any kind of meditation or visualization, let's try it today. Let's just experiment. Remember, we're getting resourceful and we're getting creative. So why don't you go ahead and close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, make sure that you feel very comfortable and very steady in your position. It doesn't matter how you are sitting down or if you're laying down, but just make sure that however your posture is, you feel comfortable. Good. And you can start to listen to your breath. Remember, your breath is life. What else do you need right now besides having your breath? You may continue breathing and just enjoying this moment. And I want you to imagine that you are sitting on a field of grass that is very green, is very soft. And in this field is very sunny, but the temperature is perfect. It's the perfect field of nature. And the sky is clear, and there are no clouds. Everything feels very calm and safe. The sounds in this field are very soothing. Perhaps you hear the sound of the wind against trees, or maybe the birds are singing. And you begin to pay attention to your feet. You send your attention to your feet. And from your feet, you begin to visualize that there are roots growing out of your feet, down into the grass, and they go down into the soil, and they keep digging down into the earth, and you try to reach deeper, deeper, deeper into the soil until it gets rocky. And you try to grasp the rocks with your roots, so you can feel very firm, very stable, very grounded to the earth. Nothing can move you. Nothing can take your roots out. Even if a strong wind comes, even if there is a hurricane and you feel you shake, your roots are strong on the ground. And now I want you to imagine that these roots begin to grow from your feet up. And suddenly your legs, your thighs become a thick root until it becomes a big trunk of a tree. You realize you are transforming into a tree. Your torso is the trunk, and your arms are the branches. And out of your fingers, little and smaller branches grow out. You begin to grow leaves. There's a lot of green. And as you breathe, I want you to notice how it feels to be a tree. How it feels to be rooted on the earth and feel supported. You are where you belong. You are strong. You are stable. And maybe out of your tree, there are flowers growing too. So you show the beauty to the world. Your beauty. And perhaps you can also grow fruits, and every single fruit is your contribution to the world, because as trees we also have to give back. And finally, I want you to notice, what kind of tree are you? What came to your mind? Because the mind works in symbolism. You have nature within you, and you are a big part of nature. And it's an endless cycle of giving and receiving. It's not only taking, but what I will give to the world. Let's bring our palms together in our hearts, all of us together in this, as a collective, as one thing. And as we bring our palms into our hearts, we honor today with humbleness and with gratitude our Mother Earth. It is because of you that we are here. It's because of you our ancestors were able to exist. And it is because of you that hopefully our descendants will be here, if only we start to respect you more. Thank you. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste, Jimena. Thank you very much. I love you.
Love you too.
It was
Bestana, thank you so
amazing.
much for
We have
inviting me.
25 seconds. I really love you. I
Thank
think
you.
we have to give a lot in our country, and I think that more we do this, more we can help and enlighten and make people feel free.
Yes, meditate, come to yoga, do things. We have a very beautiful community in Tirana, so join us because together we